The year of our Lord 2024 marks the 11th year that Lara Croft has had the exact same story and character development. Oh my god!
Don't try to talk me out of it. I'm sure it's completely... Nope, never again.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. Not gonna lie, when I first heard about the animated Netflix Tomb Raider show, I was a bit worried because they don't exactly have a great track record. And I'm not just talking about Netflix, although their track record is horrendous in and of itself. I'm also talking about the Tomb Raider series. The last two games sucked epic donkey balls because the characters had the personality of stale bread and the stories were god awful. The gameplay wasn't terrible or anything, but it's not like they stand out from their contemporaries. Everyone is doing the stealth action adventure genre. I don't know what to tell you. And to be fair, if you go back and play the old Tomb Raider games, they're not exactly mind-blowing, but they had a bunch of personality at least. And no, get your head out of the gutter. By personality, I didn't mean Lara's physique.
Thank you!
I'm a marriage spud,
Single fellas!
Look, there's no denying that Lara Croft's old designs was used in order to get a certain type of attention. Making her design a little bit less excessive and actually giving her trousers instead of short shorts makes sense considering all of the different action scenes that she's in. That I have absolutely no problem with, although I would like to speak with the animators of the new TV show and ask them why Lara went from a bodybuilder in one scene to a very slender woman in the next. Could you have a little bit of character design consistency? Please, dear God, that was distracting. Pick a body type and stick with it. That's all I want at this point. And also stick with one consistent personality, preferably the old Lara Croft, because this one is jumping all over the place. In one single episode, she can go to a violent asshole filled with rage, to a sloppy drunk, to her original suave self. And all of this happens in the same exact location with the same exact people. Look, I get that she's traumatized, that she has PTSD, that she has depression, but people are still pretty consistent unless they have borderline personality issues. There is no possible way to tell how Lara will react to absolutely anything. She will just do what the writers need her to do in order to make the story happen. And keeping your characters consistent with their personalities is one of the first things you discover when learning to write. Right after you learn show, don't tell. And guess what? The new Tomb Raider show did a lot of telling instead of showing. If I took a shot for every single time someone told Lara that it's not her fault that people died, I would have been hammered by the end of this. I was over this storyline during Rise of the Tomb Raider, let alone Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and we're still doing it in the year of our Lord 2024 with the new animated show. Supposedly, Lara Croft is the most iconic video game character ever created, and yet we have to keep showing her origin story for over a decade. And on a side note, the three most iconic video game characters in history are Mario, Sonic, and Pikachu. And the three most iconic female characters are Princess Peach, Zelda, and Samus. Sorry, not sorry, that's the reality of the situation. That is what people would say if you asked them to name those types of characters. And with each passing year, Lara goes lower down the list because they will not give us her actual personality ever again. Say what you want about her design. I will not go around and defend it and say, oh no, this was actually empowering. No, it was just to get horny teenage guys to play the game. But her personality in those games kicked ass. She was always in control. She was always charismatic. She was always knowledgeable. She was only in situations because she wanted to be, because she had control. You cannot look at me and tell me that this new Lara is better than the old Lara. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, I regret everything. Oh, I have daddy issues. I don't know what to do. I'm so stupid and useless and lack knowledge. Oh my god. We are 3 games and an animated show in. Can we get over this and show an actually strong Lara now?
You're horrible. You're an irredeemable monster. What took you so long, idiot?
When I first realized that this is yet another origin story for Lara, I rolled my eyes so hard that I gave myself a headache. Lara is all over the place in terms of personality, but there are some times where a bleep of her original, charismatic, teasing self would bleed in and I'd be like, yes, do that, but then she immediately twists into this distorted version of her that is just weeping in the corner. Criticize the old character design as much as you want. I don't care about that. But don't you dare act like that version of Lara Croft would do anything that she didn't want to. She was in charge, intelligent, suave, athletic, and brave. She did stumble, she did make mistakes, she was beaten, but usually that involved the player messing up. But that Lara is basically dead at this point because we have not had her for a very, very long time now. Not to say that I don't enjoy female characters dealing with their own trauma and interpersonal relationships. 3 of my favorite shows ever made are just that, but this isn't what Lara Croft is, and I'm just sick of it. In some ways, I think this new version of her is even more sexist than the old physical design, because back then you didn't have to protect Lara Croft, she could protect herself, but the entire point of this storyline from 2013 up until now is to make Lara someone that you want to protect. She's on these adventures because she has to. She has no choice, and it's your job to keep her safe. Oh my god. Can you just hear that? Can you just hear how terrible that sounds?
Shut up! Oh my god, I don't care!
I will say that the Netflix show was at its best when action was happening, when Lara shifted back to her original personality of being knowledgeable and competent on her own. But also, it didn't help that everyone around her was useless and bland and boring. Her love interest was irritating, her best friend was a useless blob, her enemies were all just generic, including the one that was supposed to connect with her, having to deal with trauma, but he just fell flat. And then there was her backup. Oh my god, Zip. What the... He was perhaps one of the most obvious caricatures of a gay man that I had ever seen that was completely played straight, ignore the pun. For a moment, I thought I was watching one of those terrible Daily Wire cartoons. For the entire show, I was praying that they would do something for him to flesh him out, but nope, he's just a caricature that you would probably see in the 70s. Not only that, the only male black character in the entire show is the useless comedy sidekick to the main character. What is going on? I feel like we've jumped back in time 50 years. The moment I first heard Zip talk, I had a realization. Oh, this is why they're struggling to make a Blade movie. God forbid if Hollywood allows black creators to come in and make stories about awesome, badass black characters. God, I would love more Jordan Peeles just so that I could hear different perspectives, but it feels like Hollywood is sabotaging it. I mean, just look at the American Society of Magical... As one of the 10 people in the world that saw the film and didn't feel defensive, I would just like to say that it was completely set up to fail. There is no denying that. That way, Hollywood continues to have control and power over your stories and narrative. Isn't that great?
Well, this sucks.
Deep down, I know what the Netflix show is trying to do. They were trying to make Lara Croft and Tomb Raider as a whole appeal to a broader audience. But here's the thing, they kind of failed. The plot is so basic. The characters are either all over the place or complete stereotypes. To be fair, the settings were diverse and all over the world, but it didn't feel like they were doing a whole lot with the places that they went to. Plus, there was the music. I swear to you, I believe that the music in this show was AI generated slop. Go and watch an action sequence and just listen to the music. I have no talent or skill with music at all, but I could tell that something was very wrong. It left me completely frustrated every time I heard anything from this show. I do not have the knowledge to explain this, but every time I heard a song, it felt like the beginning of the tune was played over and over and over again, and it never pulled me in any deeper. And something was off about the animation too. I get that they were trying to do a callback to older times, but also, why does everyone's body type keep changing? Something was very wrong. Literally, the only saving grace for the Tomb Raider Netflix show was the voice acting. I thought they did a lot of the heavy lifting. If they didn't put as much emotion as they could into this bland, generic dialogue with terrible writing, then it would have been a complete failure that I couldn't have gotten through at all. Normally, I try to be gracious and find the good in the things that I watch, but literally, the only people that seemed to care at all in this show were the voice actors. This made it so that I never want to watch or play Tomb Raider ever again. If something new in this franchise came out, I would not even look at it unless someone told me, hey, the old Lara Croft is back and it's amazing. Then I might be willing to think about getting in. But my faith in this has been completely crushed. I'm willing to abandon things when they start to suck, and Tomb Raider sucks now. Thank God that Arcane Season 2 is coming out to cleanse this palette, because oh my God, am I over Netflix animated shows now. But what do you think? If you actually like the show, please leave a comment down below. I really want to know why. And remember, if you disagree with everything I have to say, that is perfectly fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.